our vibes, and welcome back to the Our Vibes podcast. Woo-hoo. Okay, guys, we need to ask a very important question today. Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and just asked yourself, who hurt you?
That's deep.
Yeah, or thought about how or why some friendships or relationships leave you feeling emotionally drained?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not alone. In this episode today, we're gonna be discussing and exploring the intricate web of toxic relationships.
And it will hopefully lead us down a path of self-discovery, healing, and growth.
Let us begin with the burning question. Who hurt you?
Girl,
Where do we start?
So we're going back to like preschool?
I guess. Like, who hurt you?
do I need to
and
make
why?
an extra appointment through my therapist after this?
Yeah.
My piano teacher in kindergarten used to smack my hands with a ruler.
Wait, for real?
Yeah,
but
she
they
ripped
just
that
happened in the
really
movies.
I know.
Yeah, no, her name was Miss Kanti.
Oh,
Shout out
she's
to
still
her.
alive.
Why are you hating kids, girl?
Oh,
Who's
girl.
next?
If we're going back to elementary school, I got a few teachers too, but
Oh.
on this one, it's more about a friend from high school. So back in the day, I was probably 13, 14 years old. And I was talking to this guy that I kind of liked. We had met at church back in the day when I was Catholic.
Guys in church are a red flag.
We're actually, funnily enough, we're still friends to this day. But my best friend at the time, he met him, and all of a sudden things started getting a little bit weird. Like, okay, is it me or are you kind of flirting with him?
Oh.
And she was like, no, how dare you even ask that question? I was like,
She knew he was your crush.
oh yeah, we both liked each other, but we weren't together officially yet.
Oh, wow. I thought this was going to go to somewhere different. I thought he was going to be the toxic one.
Oh no.
Yeah.
If only. No, we were still really good friends. But she was like, no, and she went and brought in other friends. Like, can you imagine? She's like saying that I'm like trying to get with him. Spoiler alert, 3 months later, they got together.
Well,
And I was like, I thought.
he's a problem too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, what happened? I thought, yeah, it sounds like he's a problem too.
Oh no, she started flirting with him, and I was like we weren't officially together yet. He was like, like things have changed, and I was like, okay, cool. 3 months later, together, and I was like, I thought you didn't like him. I thought never, why would you even think that of me?
It's a two-way street, though.
Oh yeah,
I was about to say, but you still talk to him.
yeah. He apologized.
Okay.
He took the high road.
And she never apologized.
No accountability.
No accountability, no nothing, and even she started getting worse and worse, like years after, and started making very classist and stupid comments, and we were like, dude, what the heck? To a point
She's
out,
been a bad person since the beginning.
yeah, and I was like, this is not the kind of person I want to be friends with, so rather step away.
Do you know how she's doing? Do you know if she's grown?
She hasn't grown because I actually talked about it on a podcast I used to have a few years ago, and somehow I got to her, and she was like, so I saw the story, and I know you're talking about me, and I didn't even name her.
The fact that she's keeping tabs on you, though.
And she was like, so tell hi to the whole world for me, and I was like, hi. So I was like, I think I'm the kind of person who saves screenshots and the receipts from everything. So I'm sure.
So watch out for Muffin.
If I go deep down enough on my Facebook messages, I'll find it.
Ooh,
Well,
wow.
I hope she heals.
Wait, so I have a question. She was your best friend, right? Mm-hmm. If your best friend got with your boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, do you forgive them?
No.
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 Elaborate.
That's a boundary that's crossed.
Girl code.
But I had a somewhat similar experience in high school where my high school best friend put her guy friends before her friendship with me because she liked attention from guys.
Oh.
Pick me, girls.
Yeah, so she I hope she's grown, but yeah, so it's like sort of like parallel to that where she chose a guy over a friendship, chose multiple guys over a friendship. Yeah.
No.
Did you? What about you? Did you?
Did I what?
Oh, yeah. Why are you asking that question?
Because that was her best friend. That was the situation.
You never had
Did you
that?
guys not hear the story?
But I thought you were going to
I thought you were
in
gonna
my
come with your
experience.
stuff. It's like I got same thing, so we were hoping to get some tea.
I did have a friend who, I guess I don't really know the details, but they had crossed that boundary, and I let her know how I felt about it, and she apologized.
Okay, that's maturity and somewhat.
Yeah, I think because she took accountability and kind of took into consideration my feelings, I set it aside because at the end of the day, I feel like she was more important to me than a guy.
Yeah.
But it does impact trust.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think context helps too, because like, yeah, with
that's
that,
what I was gonna say, because like, did you guys break up in a good, like, on a good standing? Was there like any issues? Did she make a move on him when you guys were together? Like, there has to be some backstory for whether it's okay or not.
No, I think context definitely matters. Like, if it was someone I dated for like 5 years or something, I'd be incredibly offended and probably never speak to her again.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, of
that's very different boundary. But even then, I think it's tough because like you love someone so much and you trust them with information, and then they just betrayed that trust, even if it is just a guy.
Yeah, and
It's tough.
especially if they didn't ask about it. Like, if they come up with you, hey, this is going on, what do you think before?
A big difference between both of your situations, you communicated with her. Did you ever talk to your friend and be like, hey, this is how it makes me feel? Why are you
Oh,
doing
no,
it?
I did. And she called the rest people of my group of friends to say that I was putting her down and why would I doubt her that way.
So a big difference in maturity
Yes.
and reaction.
Yeah, we were also 13, 14 years old, but yeah, still.
Yeah.
people change, but then you say that she like reached out to you, so maybe people don't change.
Oh yeah, no, the fact that it's been years and she keeps up with you, like keeps tabs on you, is wildly insane.
Yeah.
Because you would think she's like, I wish you well. I've grown, but she's like, what is she doing?
I was like, or even if you've grown to that point, you're like, no, I'm just gonna let it go. That's not me anymore. Why go out of your way to reach out to that person and send a petty message? Let's see. So next question we have is, what are your friendship pet peeves or red flags?
Ooh, another one's like, where do we start?
Them getting together with your ex, that's a good one from Jen.
Oh, like that's a red flag.
From what Jen said.
Oh yeah, of course.
100%.
I feel like I have a lot of not pet peeves or I don't know how to describe
Pull the
them.
list, girl. Pull the list.
I know, like I think like what people do, I'm like, oh, add that to the list. But like red flags, I think when they feel so entitled to your time, being like, well, why are you hanging out with that person? And then like I know like some people, they're like, what are we doing this weekend? And it's like, oh, well, I actually have my own things to do. Like stop being so entitled to my time.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
I think that's a big one.
I think that's a red flag and a pet peeve.
Yes.
I've never understood that. I have some friends where they need a text every single day and they need to hang out all the time, and I would call that a high maintenance friendship. It's just personally something that I can't do. And I acknowledge it, and I try to cater my friendship to whatever my friends feel, because I do have high maintenance friends, and I realize like, okay, with this person you need to respond this, or it hurts their feelings, or I communicate with them, or I let them know, hey, I'm not really a texter, but if you call me and you need something, like I'll pick up. But I've never been able to be that person, and I guess I don't know if you guys are, I'm not trying to offend anyone, but like I guess what is going through your mind?
Oh yeah, you take forever to respond to messages. And I'm the opposite. I would like to communicate and be like, hey, okay, I need this right now.
Yeah, if someone calls me, and like it happened with us, that you call me and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. But I know Jen is not a texter, so I have to pick up.
No, yeah, and I think it's like when you're in the friendship, like you start saying like, oh, this person's a big caller, or this person like doesn't text. You start. I at least like, okay, I respect that. I understand that they have like, I understand that they have their own things, or they just like aren't big on like using their phone. Like I understand that.
Not just that, but also like knowing that we all have stuff going on, and sometimes you're just overwhelmed and you can't. Like I have friends who we literally touch base, maybe once every month or two, and these have been friendships that I've had for like 20 years now. Like we've been friends since elementary, and we're like, hey, are you still alive? Yeah. Are you struggling? Yeah, same. Do you need to talk? If anything, let me know. But I'm just, or like it's happened with one of my friends, like he had asked me about something, and I was like, I'll let you know when I'm out with class, and I forgot to answer, and it's been a week, and he was like, damn, your class is long, huh? And I was like, I am so sorry. I replied in my head, but we all know it's like, hey, we all have our own stuff going on. It's different when you're being like ignoring them to be rude versus it's just sometimes
Yeah.
stuff happens.
I have a red flag I want to share. I don't know if any of you have experienced
Share.
it. So I had a friend. We were in our 20s already, okay? We would go out to eat or go to the movies and at the counter say, oh, I didn't bring my wallet. Oh, I don't have enough money. When they would spend, I would see them spending money at the club and everything like throughout the week.
I know who
But,
this is.
but when you would go to the movie theaters, would they like order all these things and be like, oh, I don't have my wallet?
No, but like the ticket to get in,
Yeah.
like they didn't have it, and I was like,
Wait, and they would
hated-
make you pay for it?
They wouldn't say, "Can you pay for it?" But like, we're not going to see this
but we're
movie.
already here.
It's the only option.
Yeah, and so that would happen, or like be like, "Oh yeah, I'll sell you," and then it'll never happen. And I did it at first because I felt bad, and this person really needed emotional help. And like me, you know, I wanted to be a giver, but like I ended up realizing they were taking advantage of me. Yeah, that's what happened, and then eventually I cut it off.
Okay.
I'm proud of you because I remember that story and I was like, I know.
Yeah, I try to vet those people out because I feel like I give them the benefit of the doubt one time, and if they never pay me back, I literally never invite them anywhere, or I just make sure like, well, you're hungry sucks.
Oh, that's smart.
But then like they don't want to hang out with you anymore, and you're like,
Yeah,
they leave.
It's like you set a boundary and they didn't respect it.
But I do have one more pet peeve now that you guys are mentioning money. The people who are like, oh, like someone you want to like spend time with being like, oh, let's hang out. And they're like, oh, I don't have any money. It's like, let's just be together. Let's just hang out. Like,
Not everything has to be money.
Yeah.
And there's so much free stuff to do.
like
in
we could just go
general.
sit at the park.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I think I've built my friendships off being able to do nothing with no money. And I realized the people that were, if they were to say that, I probably wouldn't want to be friends. It wouldn't be for me. I thought of another pet peeve when someone is always trying to one up you. Like they're never happy for you. You say that, oh, well, I did this. Oh, I just got a new phone. Yeah, well, I have this.
They're competition, not a friend.
Yeah, they're competition, not a friend.
There's a quote in Spanish. It's like, te quieren ver bien, pero no mejor que ellos.
Exactly.
Oh, wait, hold
It sounds so
on.
much
That
better
just,
in Spanish.
Incited something because like when you drop these friends, they, at least in my experience, they've always kept tabs on me. So and then
The one we just talked about.
Yeah, I think they like me quieren ver bien, pero no mejor que ellos. Hi guys.
Hi.
Yeah.
She's doing good.
Speaking of letting people go, when is enough? Like, when do you decide this is a real breakup or not a real breakup? This is like a breakup or a friendship breakup.
It ends here.
Yeah.
After I express my boundaries and why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, and they refuse to either like compromise or they just keep making excuses. That's okay. That's it for me.
Have you
Yeah.
ever given the benefit of the doubt, being like, oh, this is just like, maybe they'll get better.
Yes, I know, because the thing is, like, I'm the kind of person who, if something's bothering me, I will tell them and be like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I'm feeling about it. I want to hear your point of view, because maybe I'm assuming. And if after that they still don't make a chance, I'll say, you know what, I'm just going to put my distance. If they reach out, good on them. If not, it is what it is. And
How do you break up?
I'll tell them, you know what, I don't want to talk to you.
I love
like-
that for you.
Or I just don't answer. Like, it's happened with friends
Ghost.
and family too. So I'm like, no, like if they don't even make an effort to ask me like if I'm doing okay, I'm not gonna bother with it.
You just brought up family. Yeah, like there'll be a family member that never wanted a relationship, never even tried to do a relationship, but like all of a sudden they want something.
Yeah.
Ghost.
It's always when they want something.
Not just that, but like I have family who and they're like, oh, well, you never reach out or like you never make
The
an
phone
effort
works
to
both ways, girl.
that. And I've literally.
Oh.
It works both
Period.
ways, and I was like, I literally have the like captures and the screenshots from all the times where I've reached out. How many times in the last year? How many times you've even like asked me if I'm doing okay?
She really is
And they were
screenshot
like,
queen.
and they were like, well, I'm not just saying this because I'm just saying because you haven't reached out, and that since you moved, I was like, well, even when I was still in Ecuador, you weren't like
Reaching out.
yeah, and we live blocks away, so what the heck? So I'm keeping my distance. They can talk whatever they want. I'm not.
I agree with Mafed. I feel like if you've already expressed how you feel and something's hurting you and they're not listening or understanding or taking accountability, I think you should walk away. And she says she's able to articulate that to everyone. I think in my relationships, I will straight up tell you I didn't like this because X, Y, and Z. Like, if that's anything I'm proud of, is I will straight up tell you when something. Yeah, it's gonna make noise. Maybe, but
They high-fived for those listening.
we high-fived.
They touched.
We touched. But when it comes to friendships, I think I struggle to articulate how I'm feeling because you don't want to offend them. I've gotten much better at that. I think in this day and age, I can totally say something like about how I'm feeling and if it's impacting me. But back then, I know in high school or early college days, I could not.
It's hard to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
It's super hard.
Because it's something that I worked in therapy, and it's like, well, at the same time, it's like, yes, I'm trying not to offend them, but they're offending me with stuff that they're doing. So if they're not having respect for me and my boundaries, why do I have to have them with them? And that doesn't mean I'm going to be rude, but I'm going to be straight up. And if you don't like it, but that's them.
And it's something we're not taught, though, to communicate. I think what happens is you build this resentment towards your friend, and then it starts coming out in petty ways. And then that's how friendships die. Because not one, if you think about the people you don't talk to right now, did you actually tell them, this hurts me, X, Y, and Z, or did it just get to a bad place and you guys just stopped talking?
One time I actually did say it. And it was like the friendship one of the most important friendships that I had. It was that one girl. We were friends for a very long time. And I remember like I had that conversation at an IKEA, and she.
It's always in an IKEA for you. It's not a sponsor.
Meeting spot.
And she literally was like, "Okay, well, I can't meet your needs. Like, I'm not gonna see your side." And I was like, "Okay, well, I guess this is it." And she's like, "Okay." And
then you leave the IKEA awkwardly.
Yeah, we literally parted ways at the escalator, and I never saw her again.
Oh, wow.
Aren't breakups with friends worse than breakups with guys? The worst.
Yeah.
You
I think
feel it.
for me, at least, it's like harder to shake them. With a guy and be like, peace.
Bye.
Because it's like a sisterhood. Like, it feels like family.
And you share such intimate things on a different level. Like a boyfriend, and it's such a different dynamic.
Yeah.
But I feel like with a friend, you get to like really, not that you can't do that
You
with your
told them your
significant,
secrets.
but they know everything. They
Yeah.
know the tea, especially if you've known them for so long. They've seen you through different milestones versus like a guy that you maybe met at a later time.
He is the milestone.
And she was there.
And she was there.
That's a song lyric right there.
Yeah, that is. That me gustó. I'm gonna use that.
There you go. I don't know about sisterhood because I think I have more guy friends than I have girl friends. But the people I've dated are usually the people I've dated have usually been started out as friends and it's developed into a romantic relationship. So for me, it's been both ways because it's like this is the person I'm telling everything to that like from whatever I'm bored and I need you to help me paint my nails.
Your eyes lit up right now. It was really cute. She's thinking about him.
She's red.
I'm gonna blush. But, it's like either whether like I'm going from I don't know what color to pick my nails, so I'm literally crying and having a mental breakdown. I don't know what to do with my life. So, but I've also had those friendships, and it's like it sucks, but at the same time, it makes you more grateful for the people you do keep because they've seen you grow so much throughout these years. And thankfully, I do have a lot of friends that have been friends with me for years. But it's like I've seen you, and they have seen me grow and learn from my mistakes for so long. And it's so nice that you get to have that relationship, and they've stuck through that.
I guess that's a great segment to what's been your biggest lesson about these types of friendships or breakups or toxic relationships?
I think, because I've only had one big friendship breakup, but like they showed, like up to the end, they showed me that I was never going to be a priority for them, even when I was like changing my shifts around because they wanted to hang out. Like I realized like, oh, this person's just never gonna like prioritize me. So I think like I learned that friendships is about, sometimes you don't need a priority. Like I understand you have your own life, but like the person that goes out of the way to like
Not accommodate you.
yes. Yeah, that's a big lesson that I learned.
What happened with this friendship?
So they've known me, like you said, sisterhood. They were basically like my cousin almost.
Aww.
Because I've known them since I was little. Like for as long as I can remember, they were right there by my side. And then like I think it happened like in 2020, like right when like I was going through such like a rough patch because like the pandemic was happening and like I just felt empty. And then they were like, they had new friends. And I understand that like you can have other friends. But the fact that they were changing the plans on me to hang out with their friends, it's like, oh, so you have time for them but never for me. So like I was like, this isn't right. Like this is like it. And she was like saying things being like, oh yeah, she's so mad at me, blah 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 blah. And for you to be like, to say that like you know how I feel, it ticked me off.
Give me their address, I'm gonna go to
It just like didn't sit right with me, the fact that you were like going out around telling people like, oh yeah, she's mad at me, she feels like this. It's like, why are you dictating my feelings?
Not just that, but it's like not only are you do not care enough for it to make you a priority, but you're having a blatant disrespect of just blasting it out, and even though they know how you're feeling, they don't acknowledge it or do anything to fix it.
The fact that they were saying that they know how I feel without coming straight to me.
And where's the loyalty, you know? The fact that they are talking about your feelings and they know that you're upset, and instead of coming up to you and saying, hey, you know what, I don't like that you're upset, I'm sorry, this and that, or like talking it out, they're talking about you behind your back with the new friends.
And
I think that's incredibly disrespectful.
And deciding to keep doing it even though they know you're upset.
And I think when it was enough, I texted them because I was like, oh, it's their birthday. I'm not going to like ignore her on her birthday. I'm going to say happy birthday. And she was like, oh, thank you. We should make some time to meet up. And I'd be like, oh, you want to make time now? Yeah, even though I made time for you multiple times. I think that was the last straw, being like, this is where it ends.
Finally, now that happened to me, and I was like, I reached out to them for their birthday, and she didn't reply, and that was my last straw. I was like, no, F you.
Would you have felt any better if she told you why she did that?
I think so. I think even like a couple years ago, I was like, if she just said she was sorry, then I would have like maybe opened my arms to her. But now I'm like, I don't even want a sorry. Like, I don't even want anything from her.
So did you express how you were feeling, or you just chose never to speak to her again?
I told people because I know she was talking to people behind my back and being like, you know what, if you're doing that, then I'm going to tell this person how I feel about the situation, because I know you guys are going to get together and talk. So I never said it.
I think that's a lesson in itself, though, because I've had friends where I straight up told them, this is what's going on, this is why I can't speak to you anymore. And then I've had people that I realized, like, it's just not worth it. It's too far destroyed that even if I said something, like, who's really getting closure?
Yeah, I never got closure.
And the thing is, sometimes you think you need the closure, but better closure is just letting it die.
Yeah.
You don't need, it's a waste of your energy to keep
because
giving
I
people
know,
time.
like, she had an exact same situation with someone else. Exactly
So
the
this
same.
is a habit. Can I go through my hands now?
Yes.
Why don't we take a break so Muffer can go throw hands? This episode is brought to you by Chismosa Cafe in Covina.
Welcome back. We're going to talk about the lessons that we learned through these toxic friendships. Vanessa, what are yours?
Mine. I learned to get better friends. No, no, but really, like, I learned that, like, oh, friendships is about respect. Friendships is about communicating. And when I communicate, people don't gaslight me.
Oh, I felt that.
Big lessons that I've learned.
If somebody gaslights you, if somebody crosses those boundaries, how did you let them go?
Oh, I think I ghost people. But honestly, like, that's enough. Like, nothing else needs to be said. You should have seen that coming because you were disrespecting me.
Like, at that point, you've expressed your boundaries and told them everything they need to know, and if they don't listen, well, it's already written.
And I think I also never express it because I've seen in the past that they just, like, are gonna be reactive and be like, yeah, they're gonna gaslight me. Because I've seen that situation with other people.
When
and be
you
like,
speak up for
oh,
yourself?
that's how you react when somebody speaks up. And be like, so that means you're never going to listen to me when I speak up.
So, but this is like talking about specific people, not people in general, correct?
Specific.
Okay.
I was about to say, because if you had one negative experience and they gaslit you, and now you don't want to speak up for the next person because you've had that done to you before, I feel like that could be a little hard to not give the person a chance to
because I
listen to
think
you.
when I'm with new friends that are slightly newer, I tell them, and then I'm like, oh, they didn't react that way. Oh, they're respecting me. Oh, this is a true friendship.
Like, this is safe for me to be myself and
This
express
is a
how I
safe
feel.
space.
Yes.
I'm glad, and I'm glad that you have friends that allow you to express yourself, because I think it can be really tough when you're being gaslit. I feel like it was thrown around so much throughout the internet, right? And people just started misusing it.
Yeah.
And then when I actually learned what it is, and then when I saw that happening to me, I couldn't believe that there's just people that do that to human beings. And they make you feel crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think that's been, now I can literally be in a situation, I'm like, oh, that's gaslighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone that doesn't know what that is yet?
It's good.
Google gaslight.
If you think it, Google it.
And then look at the signs, and they're textbook. Textbook gaslighters. Literally, you can go down, check, check, and they do all of those things.
It's crazy. That happened to me too. And I Googled it and be like, oh my God, literally right there.
I've literally like screenshotted like the checklist and sent it to people that I know are being
It's on
like,
your home screen.
And I said no, and I'll send it to people that I know are being gaslit. I was like, dude, open your eyes.
Yeah.
It's right in front of you. But if you don't want to see it, you're not, and you're gonna be staying stuck there.
And no, just because someone disagrees with you does not mean they're gaslighting.
Yeah.
That is so different. I think it gets thrown out there and people, oh no, you're gaslighting me. It's like, okay, no, people are allowed to express a different opinion from yours. That does not mean gaslighting. That's how I see it used on the internet. And I'm like, no, they're not gaslighting you. They're just not agreeing with you. But then there are specific tactics that are gaslighting.
But even if they don't agree with you, like, why do you have to be rude about it? Like, you can express your feelings. We're all human beings. You can express your feelings without making the other person feel like you're a dirty sock.
I think what makes it challenging for people and self-awareness of gaslighting is when you're in love with the person. Like whether not just a relationship or like a partner, but family. Like when you love and trust someone and you've built that throughout years, it's really hard to realize when they might have some toxic tendencies.
And there's such a toxic like way of seeing stuff in our community in general. Es que porque es familia, you can't do anything.
Sangre.
That riled me up.
Like, I have heard it so much. Okay, la ropa sucia se lava en casa. I'm like, if you're doing that and not telling anyone about like the toxic stuff that you're experiencing, how are you gonna seek help if you keep hiding that stuff?
Y ni están lavando la ropa.
Sitting there.
It's dirty.
Like, I'm sorry, but the laundromat is public.
Oh, that's good.
No, something that like with friendships be like, but you guys have been friends for like 7 years. You shouldn't throw it away, and be like, nope.
There's chapters in every book.
And not just that, I was like, yeah, it's been 7 years. But if in those 7 years they haven't learned that they need to respect my time, why would I want to waste more years in the future with this person?
I've wasted 7 years. I'm not going to waste 7 more years.
Exactly.
So bye.
I think that's what my biggest lesson was is learning and maturing to be okay with letting people go.
Yes.
And knowing
yeah.
that, you know, that friendship or that relationship lasted for the time that it needed to last. And I now, you know, am allowing myself to know, hey, you know, it's a good time to end it. It's okay to end it.
Sometimes you grow relationships and
That was a big lesson for me. A lot of the friendships that I've had since I was 12, all of them, mostly. And if I met them in college, it's been like 10 plus years already. And I didn't know how to, I kept trying and trying and trying, but you can only try so much. And I echo what Vanessa feels like. You're doing so much, bending over backwards for these people, and they won't do it back. And I think it's so hurtful that they do that. And even when you tell them, it doesn't go anywhere. And you realize once you start expressing your boundaries that they're upset. It's like, oh, have you heard that saying where when you finally place boundaries, if someone's offended, they were always benefiting you from not having them.
The people who are most mad about you setting boundaries with the ones who
are the ones who crossed it.
Misery loves company.
Yeah, and it stings because you feel dumb that you like bend over backwards for these people and they don't bat an eye.
Definitely, and also like the big lesson for me has been that relationships, whether that's family, friends, or like romantic relationships, they're about reciprocity. If you're the only one putting effort to keep a relationship going and the other person is not doing anything to keep it that way, why do you have to be the only one putting effort if it's supposed to be going both ways? If there's no reciprocity, not communication, and not respect, I don't want it.
You deserve better.
Exactly. And better, but what makes a good friend?
Oh, that's a good one.
I feel like we've touched on it. Respecting, that's a good friend.
Communication.
Someone who communicates with you.
Someone who's willing to communicate their boundaries.
And respect others.
Yes.
Boundaries.
Not only communicating, but I think a big thing is when they listen. When you communicate and then they listen. I think that makes a very good friend.
Yeah, that's something admirable. I think as I've gotten older and a lot of lessons that I learned this year because they've
Older
been
and
chewing
wiser.
me out and throwing me out. Yeah. One thing that I really, really cherish is loyalty. I feel like growing up, I know that it's a great quality to have, but I wouldn't say like I was as loyal as my other friends. Like I wasn't disloyal towards them, but like to the amount. I have my best friend Susie, shout out to her. She is the most loyal person ever. If someone talks bad about me, like you're dead. Like she will Blair Waldorf your butt. It's actually really beautiful to see. And if someone doesn't like me, she doesn't like them. If anything like she just has my back 100%, and I think that's just a quality that she has.
Yeah.
And I feel like I love her to death, but growing up I realized like I could have had the same loyalty as her. Like I was never mean or anything like that, but I feel like I could have been more to the level that she is. And I've had friends who have not been that, and it's been so disheartening because I love them so much and they're just like backstabbing you. And I realize that now that's super important to me, like to back up your friends, and which leads to me being supportive. I realize that a lot of friends are not supportive.
Yeah.
That's tough.
It sounds like the root of it is she's always rooting for you. And
She
that's
is.
really beautiful.
She really, really is. And I'm so grateful for her, and I realize that she's such a great friend, and I hope to be as great as a friend as she is.
Yeah.
But now that I see that, I'm like, oh, other friends suck. Bye.
Compared to her.
Yeah, compared to her, I'm like, peace out, I'm out.
Girl.
But yeah, I would say being supportive, being loyal, and having accountability. Hey, I don't like that you did this. It really hurt my feelings, or I felt like this because you did X, Y, and Z. Oh, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. Because if anyone told me that I hurt their feelings, I would never do it again, especially if I love them. And if they're doing it despite you telling them, then they're not your friend.
I see.
That and providing definitely them being able to provide a safe space for you to be authentically you and
Yes.
telling them when something's bothering you.
Yeah.
Because going back to the gaslighting, you're like, well, I never meant that. Or I was like, no, you're making it up. I was like, if they're not providing a safe space for you to tell them how you feel, and they're not supporting you, I was like, well, it goes back to reciprocity. If they're not being there for you and you're doing everything you can for them, and they're not respecting or just appreciating it.
Yeah, I was going to say that the key to a good relationship, friendship, or romantic is you feel safe with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you feel safe enough to talk to them, and like the person that I was always paying for, they put me in a lot of dangerous situations.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like
And you were
inviting.
paying.
Yeah, like I invited, and I was paying
were
like
paying to die.
like a burra. I mean, I've grown since then, but like I invited them to a birthday party, and then they brought like a stranger from Tinder. That like I don't know if they're a serial killer. Why are they at my house?
Hello.
Yeah. So yeah, good friend is someone that you feel safe with.
Something that I've felt is that I feel like they're happy for me. Like they don't even need to
That
tell
part.
me anything, but I can feel it. Yeah, I feel like that makes a good friend, and I didn't see that with my past friends.
Yeah.
No.
And you can tell when they're not happy for you. They can't even hide it on their
Yeah.
face. I've noticed that too. I gotta cut people off. They're dead after this episode.
Jennifer's gonna text
Yeah,
her
I'm in
ex-friends
therapy
now.
right now.
I know that, and also that and sometimes it's hard, but they tell you stuff that you need to hear whether they know you're gonna like it or not. And it's something that one of my friends from back home, Kenny and Sara, they were telling me no matter what, I know that I can trust you to tell me if I'm straight up doing something that I shouldn't, because you're gonna tell me about it. And you're not going to sugarcoat it. And if I mess up and I keep doing it, well, you're going to be there for me. But at least you're not going to let me run wildly knowing that I'm doing something that I shouldn't.
That's another important quality for me, that they can say, yo, you messed up. I got you. Dude, that was tough, but you shouldn't do this again because X, Y, and Z. So they're there, they're supportive, they get you, they understand you, they're not judging your poor life decisions. But then they're also like, hey, you could have done
will call
this.
you out on your
Yeah,
bullshit.
they will call you out on your BS, and Go. They will call you out on your BS, and I appreciate the bluntness in my friendships.
Yeah.
All right, as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you guys with a thought. Toxic relationships and friendships may have left scars, but they don't define you.
Ooh.
You guys are going to get through this. You have the power to heal, grow, and choose healthier connections.
And also, remember, it's okay to ask for help and seek support whenever you need it. If you're not getting it, go look for it. Your well-being matters. Your mental health matters. You deserve happiness, respect, and love. If you're not getting it, it's okay to walk away.
Period.
Therapy's really cool, guys. I'm serious.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode or if any of our experiences resonated with you, we really appreciate writing a review or if you share it with someone that it could help.
Yes, someone that might benefit from this conversation, maybe liked everything, maybe starts practicing it in their real life. So share it with them.
And if you are applying any of our advice, let us know because we're always happy to hear from you guys. Make sure you're subscribing to hit the notification bell so you get notified when we post a new episode. And stay tuned for more.
See you next time.
Bye.